Leah stood at the bus stop with one hand gripping her daughter's and the other clutching a trash bag full of clothes. The cold bit into her skin, but she barely noticed. Her mind was loud with every mistake, every shouted word, every night she'd promised herself she'd leave and didn't, until now. Until today. 6-year-old Ellie looked up, eyes wide, her silence louder than any sob. Leah had told her they were going on an adventure. But the truth was, they were running. No plan, no money, no idea where they'd sleep that night. Just the hope that leaving was better than staying. They found a women's shelter that night. The fluorescent lighting hummed in the lobby. Leah filled out forms with trembling hands, trying to ignore the sharp stab of humiliation in her chest. It wasn't just pride, it was fear. She'd spent years being told she was nothing without him. Now that he was gone, who was she? The room they were assigned was small and smelled faintly of disinfectant, but it had clean sheets and a door that locked. Ellie curled into her arms that night, whispering, "Mummy, are we safe now?" Leah didn't answer at first. Tears slipped down her cheeks as she kissed her daughter's hair. "Yes, baby, we're safe now." But safety didn't mean peace. The next morning, Leah sat in the common room, staring at a cup of instant coffee. Other women talked in hushed tones nearby, some with bruises, some pregnant, all with stories they wore like invisible weights. Leah wondered if hers measured up. Shame clung to her like a second skin. She wasn't supposed to end up here. She had dreamed once dreams of being a designer, of traveling, of giving her daughter more than hand-me-downs. But life had narrowed those dreams into survival. Every time Ellie smiled, it was like sunlight slipping through the cracks. But it wasn't enough to erase the fear. Leah worried about food, about school supplies, about the future. She worried Ellie would remember the shouting, the broken dishes, the night they left. She sat with these thoughts in silence, not knowing what to do next. For the first time in her life, she wasn't sure she had anything left to give. And still, there was her daughter, asking for cereal, reaching for her hand, looking at her like she was someone worth believing in. That night, as Leah brushed Ellie's hair with a borrowed comb, she looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman staring back, tired, hollow-eyed, but still standing. She had left with nothing but a child and her pain. But something in her heart whispered maybe that was enough to begin. Leah met Maya on her third day at the shelter. Maya was one of the social workers told.com, with a steady gaze that seemed to see more than Leah wanted to show. She didn't ask intrusive questions. Instead, she offered coffee, and one afternoon, sat beside Leah during snack time. "I was you, 10 years ago," Maya said softly, not looking for sympathy, just truth. Different city, same fear. Leah didn't respond right away, but those words settled into her like seeds. Over the next few weeks, Maya became the one constant in Leah's life, other than Ellie. She helped her sign up for childcare assistance and gently nudged her toward a free tech skills course offered nearby. Leah hesitated. She hadn't studied in years, and the thought of failing again terrified her. But Maya only said, "Start small. One class, just show up." So Leah did. Ellie clung to her the first morning she dropped her off at the daycare down the street. Leah cried the entire bus ride, not because she was scared, but because letting go even for a few hours felt like leaving a part of her heart behind. The classroom was filled with other women, most younger, some loud and confident. Leah sat quietly in the back, fingers stiff on the borrowed laptop. The first few days were rough. She fumbled, got frustrated, considered quitting. But every time she thought of giving up, she remembered Maya's words. "You don't have to be perfect, just be present." Maya became more than a guide, she was a mirror. She reflected back to Leah the strength she had forgotten she had. When Leah confessed how worthless she felt, how ashamed she was of needing help, Maya listened, then reminded her, "The bravest thing you've done is ask for help. Do you know how many never do?" Still, the nights were hard. Leah would watch Ellie sleep and wonder if she was doing enough. There were days she felt like an imposter, pretending to be strong while barely holding herself together. But slowly, the rhythm of learning, of trying, began to build something in her, a quiet belief. One evening, Maya handed Leah a flyer for a part-time customer support job at a local startup. Leah laughed, shaking her head. "I haven't worked in years. They won't even look at me." Maya smiled. "Let them decide that. You just apply." Leah didn't sleep that night. She stayed up with her resume, her hands shaking, heart pounding. It wasn't just a job application, it was a declaration that she still had something to offer. that she hadn't been erased by her past, that maybe, just maybe, she was ready to begin again. The first interview was over the phone, and Leah could barely keep her voice steady. Her hands trembled, her heart raced, but she made it through. They called her back. She went in, wearing borrowed clothes and a quiet desperation tucked behind a practiced smile. She didn't get the job. Leah cried in the shelter bathroom that night, the sobs silent but heavy. Maya found her afterward and didn't offer hollow encouragement. She just sat with her, shoulder to shoulder, until Leah could breathe again. But the rejection didn't stop her. It hurt. Yes, it stirred up all the old voices telling her she wasn't enough, never would be, but she kept applying. Every resume sent was a small rebellion against the version of herself that had been made to feel invisible. 1 month passed, then 2. Ellie adjusted to the shelter's daycare. She made a friend, laughed more, drew pictures of their tiny house, as she called it, and taped them to the wall with pride. Leah watched her daughter bloom in the smallest spaces and realized something quietly profound. Children didn't need perfection. They needed presence. They needed hope. Finally, Leah got a call. A different company, one she barely remembered applying to, wanted her to start as a part-time support associate. It wasn't glamorous. The pay was modest, but it was hers. She screamed when she hung up, clutching Ellie, tears rolling down her cheeks. It was the first time she'd cried from joy in years. Leah saved every paycheck. She ate less, walked more, studied at night. Within 3 months, she had enough to rent a tiny studio apartment. It wasn't much, just 1 room and a kitchenette, but it had a window, and sunlight poured in every morning like a quiet blessing. On move-in day, Ellie jumped on the mattress on the floor, giggling. "It's like a princess castle." Leah laughed through tears. For the first time, their home wasn't a place they had run to. It was a place they had built. Leah didn't stop there. She continued taking classes online. She offered to volunteer at the shelter on weekends, helping new mothers navigate the same path she once feared. Her life wasn't suddenly easy. Bills still came. Exhaustion still lingered, but there was a rhythm now, a quiet certainty that she could face what came next. Sometimes, Leah still stared at the mirror, remembering the woman who once thought she was broken. Now, she sees someone resilient, someone who didn't let the past define the rest of her life. She had built a new life from nothing, and that was everything. Sometimes, strength isn't loud. It's a mother tying her daughter's shoes while carrying a heart full of worry. It's asking for help when pride says to hide. It's choosing, every day, to believe in something better even when nothing seems possible. Leah's story reminds us that rebuilding doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence and the quiet decision to begin again. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe for more stories that speak to the strength inside us all. We're here to remind you every life has the power to change.